I got to be honest with you right up front. There's no way to make this video without it sounding like an I told you so video. And I apologize for that ahead of time, but the truth is it's got to be told. Many of you remember before the election, I did several videos where I tried to speak to rural America, particularly farmers and ranchers, to talk to them about the ramifications of a second term for Donald Trump. And in several of those videos, I talked about the fact that if we were to elect Donald Trump and he were to impose a second round of tariffs on China, the results would be devastating. And if you think hard about it, you'll remember what we talked about. Number one, we talked about the fact that China wasn't prepared for the tariffs in the first Trump administration. They had a disease going through their hog population. They didn't have good stocks of row crops. So they were caught off guard, and they had to continue to buy some American pork and some American row crop products in order to survive the tariffs, especially the time of C-19. But we also talked about what's happened since then. The Chinese no longer have a disease going through their pork population, and they're well stocked in pork. And in addition to that, they've reached out to South America and made best friends with the governments of Brazil and Argentina. And they are importing a lot of wheat and corn and soybeans from South America to the point where Brazil, which used to supply China with only 13% of their row crops, is now supplying them with over 43% of their row crops. And that relationship is just getting cozier and cozier. And we talked about the fact that if we were to impose another round of tariffs on China, it would be devastating for row crop farmers because since China is more prepared, not only would they be less likely to continue to buy row crops from Americans and from American farmers, they would also impose reciprocal tariffs of their own that would be devastating for row crop farmers in America. And guys, that's exactly what's happened. That's exactly what's happened. And again, this isn't an I told you so video, but it sure as hell is I wish you would listen video. Because on Friday, the Chinese told the three largest soybean distributors in this country that sell the beans that farmers raise in this country to China, you can no longer do business here. Your contracts are canceled, your licenses are canceled. In addition to that, they placed their own reverse tariffs on all different kinds of categories: pork, beef, corn, fowl, poultry. And remember what we said, those studies that have been done by the American Soybean Association, by the corn growers before the last election, that if these tariffs took place again, it would cost soybean farmers 37 billion metric tons of soybean sales to China and around the world. And with corn, it could cost as much as 80% of the corn sales in this country.
In the heartlands of America, across the vast fields of soy, corn, and wheat, an unlikely political shift is quietly taking place. Among the very farmers who once rallied behind Donald Trump with passionate support, there's now a deepening sense of regret. Take the so-called magazine farmers, a term often used to describe agricultural producers who gained media attention during Trump's presidency for their vocal support of his policies. Many of them championed Trump in 2016 and again in 2020, drawn in by his promises of economic revival, trade reform, and deregulation. But years later, the shine has worn off. Trump's trade war with China, once framed as a bold stance for American interests, hit American agriculture hard. China, one of the U.S. largest buyers of soybeans and other crops, retaliated with tariffs of its own. The result? Prices plummeted, and farmers watched as their grain bins filled up with unsold harvests.
Well, I made the mistake of turning on the news, and I listened to some of Trump talking in front of the Department of Justice, spewing his goddamn lies, telling things about us, about Americans. I can't stand that man. And now I find out I have pneumonia, and I can't march tomorrow. Hold up the truth, warriors. Hold it up for me. I can't be with you.
While the administration provided billions in bailout funds, many farmers now say it felt like a Band-Aid on a wound that never healed. I voted for Trump because I thought he'd fight for the American farmer, said one Iowa grower. But we became pawns in a geopolitical game. Some magazine-featured farmers were also drawn in by promises of slashing red tape and rolling back environmental regulations. But the long-term consequences of those rollbacks, such as increased water pollution, soil degradation, and climate unpredictability, have come back to haunt their operations. I thought less regulation would mean more freedom, one farmer said. But now I'm spending more just to fix the damage from runoff and unpredictable weather patterns. There's also a deeper, more personal regret. Several farmers have expressed exhaustion with the divisive rhetoric, culture wars, and chaos that defined much of the Trump era. Many are now looking for stability, integrity, and long-term solutions rather than short-term applause lines. In places once considered MAGA strongholds, farmers are talking, sometimes quietly, sometimes candidly, about rethinking their politics. They haven't all flipped parties, but they are asking tougher questions and demanding more than slogans. While Trump remains a dominant figure in Republican politics, cracks are showing in his rural base. For magazine farmers who once championed his cause, the regret isn't always about betrayal, it's about realization.
You know, I'm seeing all these videos right now where all these farmers are crying about not getting no help right now. You know what? Let me ask you something. When have you ever heard of a black farmer crying about it? Never. And you want to know why? Because they ain't never got no help in the first place. That's right. USDA's literally admitted to discriminating against black farmers. And literally black farmers had to sue, thousands of them, to get what white farmers are handed for free. And fast forward to today, all these farmers crying that they can't get no help. You see, black farmers, they've been struggling. Y'all just now feeling what they've been feeling for over 100 years. Black farmers, they used to own over 19 million acres of land. But guess what? Systematic racism, denied loans, shady politicians, and legal loopholes wiped them all out. Yeah. And now they're 1% of America's farmland. When the government finally tried to pass relief for the black folk back in 2021, white farmers sued to block it, claimed it was reverse discrimination. Make that make sense. So, you know, next time you see folks complaining about farm aid, why don't you ask them, where's the help for the black farmers? Ask them why their struggle is just now important when others have been suffering for centuries.
Hey there, MAGA regret. It is really, really happening. And I grew up in rural Iowa, just 1 hour away from Omaha, Nebraska. Both of my children live in Nebraska. Most of my family are in Nebraska right now. And so this is a really big deal for me. But you guys voted for this. And I don't want to go through the whole thing that everybody else is doing. What I want to talk about is decency. So when I grew up, and probably the same thing for boomers, if you broke something, you made up for it. So say you go borrow your neighbor's ladder and it breaks. You go buy them a new ladder, your wife bakes them a cake or a pie, and you express your sorry several times, and you feel bad. So now your vote, because you did not pay attention the last time or read Project 2025 or anything to point you in the right direction and show you what exactly was going to happen, this is the vote that you made. And so I see many of you coming on here crying fake little tears, but I have zero sympathy for you, because what are you actually doing now? Are you protesting in any way? What are you doing besides trying to get other people to feel bad for you? It's going to require action, and it's going to require you to really go out and mobilize and make a difference now, because you are the one who did the thing. It was you. You made the vote. It's affecting you now, just like it affects the rest of us. So what are you going to do? I'm really anxious to hear what you're going to do to make up for it. We are not the ones that did this. So again, how are you going to make it right? The people in the Midwest it's very, very important to make up for your wrong. So what are you doing to make up for your wrong? Write it down. What action, what mobilization are you doing? This is really the only answer now. I don't want to hear any more tears or any more bullshit. What are you doing?
And there it is. The same farmers who once rolled out the red carpet for Trump are now looking around like, wait, was that all just a show? The tariffs? Still hurting. The trade deals? Still shaky. The promises? Well, there's still promises. So here's the real plot twist. Maybe the loudest guy in the room isn't always the one with the plan. Let me know what you think. Was it all smoke and mirrors, or did farmers just bet on the wrong horse? Drop a comment. Hit that like button if you're vibing with the truth, and don't forget to subscribe for more takes that cut through the noise. Until next time, keep your fields green, your mind sharp, and your votes smarter.